Finally, snow is back in GTA Online. So to celebrate, I got the top 10 vehicles for the snow in GTA Online. All of these are sorted by how well they perform in the snow, but also I took not only the handling, but also the off-road traction loss stats that you have to go into the files to see, as well as handling, traction, and overall how well it performs in the snow, in the city, and off-road snow. Now, if you guys have any changes, let me know. Maybe I'll make a community top 10 or something like that. But grab a coffee, Merry Christmas, and enjoy the video. Number 10 is the Kuruma. Now, there are two different versions of Kuruma, and the traction is just as good. So this has an off-road traction loss of 0 with a top speed of 109.75 miles per hour, which is pretty decent. Now, this is a really old vehicle all the way back to OG Heights update, and it still proves itself to this day with how good it is off-road. It is meant to be a rally vehicle. This one is just armored. It's better, almost. Just a straight-up fun vehicle, but it's not the best in the snow. Number 9 is a How Special Works La Corsa, with a top speed of 142.5 miles per hour, 5th best in the sports car category, with Amani tech and immune to the deadly bushes on current gen consoles. Yes, that's a thing. And an off-road traction loss of 0.35. The How Special Works La Corsa is amazing. If you need the trip along, if you need to just go somewhere fast, this is the car to have. It's a rally spec vehicle along with the OP How Special Works upgrades, making this overall the fastest sports car in the game, at least around a track, but that also carries over to the snow. The only place where it's not as good, which is why it is at number 9, is because the off-road traction loss is 0.35, so it can get a little bit out of control here and there, and slippery, especially with the speed. Even at 0, the speed is still so fast that it's almost dangerous to drive in this weather. Still a great vehicle to have right now, but there's more we need to look at. At number 7, we have the Outlaw. I love a car that probably a lot of people forgot about, but this car is just so unique. It's an open wheel, kind of dune buggy of a vehicle, and it's pretty fast. The top speed is 90.5 miles per hour, which is pretty fast for what this car is, but the grip is so good. The traction is so good on this car that is why this is this high on this list, is because it's just so good in the snow. This is the first car on this list with 0 traction loss. That means it keeps all of its traction when it goes off-road in any off-road conditions. So even though this is slower than some below this list and some above this car, this does have 0 traction loss, and this is why it's so good on off-road conditions. At number 7, we have the Tropos Rally, which was released all the way back in the Cunning Stunts update. This car was meant to be a rally vehicle. You have 2 different options with which Rockstar doesn't really do anymore, so that's really interesting. It starts at $816,000 with a top speed 119.5 miles per hour, which is kind of in the middle of the sports car class, but if we're talking about off-road, that's really high up there. And it has an off-road traction loss of 0.4, but even with higher than the last one, it's still better because the traction is just so good. It's meant to be an off-road vehicle. It has incredible downforce. It slides very nicely through the dirt. It grips in the snow. And this car is just fast in the straights when it comes to off-road. This car can even beat out some of the modern day sports cars, even if there's a tiny bit of off-road sections in races. This is how good this car and the next car we will see, which is the Omnis, which are 2 of the best rally vehicles, 2 of the oldest too, but 2 of the best. I'm just looking at this, you can tell it is a beast in the snow conditions. You have to test it out to believe me. You might think it's super old, but this car is amazing. But if you're getting into modern day, explosive proof, truck, it can handle anything you throw it at, this is where the Nightshark comes in. So this thing is a tank. It's heavy, it has grip, 0 off-road traction loss, top speed of 104.75 miles per hour, which is actually pretty high in the off-road class. The weight and traction and grip of this vehicle keeps it steady one of the most steady vehicles on this list. The Vagrant is good, it turns good, but you could still spin out a lot. This is just steady, it's reliable in the snow. That is why this Nightshark is on this list here. And it's pretty affordable too. $1.2 million to buy, and it's explosive proof. I still choose this car most of the time when in the snow, even above some of the other ones, better ones on this list. This car I still just choose because it's meant for free mode, and pairing up with the snow, how good it drives in it, it's just amazing to drive. Now this is one of my personal favorites. Again, coming in this Cunning Stunts update, meant to be, made to be rally vehicle. You guys will think I'm gonna be crazy for adding this one at number 5. It is the Obey Omnis. You have to try it out to know what I'm talking about. Only a price of $700,000. It has a top speed of 112.5 miles per hour, 91st out of 105 in the sports car class, but comparing that to off-road vehicles, it's up there in the top 5. This is a rally vehicle. It is an off-road vehicle. That is what this vehicle is meant to be. Just look at the design of it. When they added this, this was meant to be a rally vehicle. And that's the only options you have when you buy it too. You pick from classic rally and retro rally. They don't do this a lot, but for this car was something special, and it still is. It does have a traction loss of 0.4, so not 0, but this car grips so good. The traction is so good. You can't drift with it too off-road. It has that ability to where it grips insanely good, but also if you want to drift, you can drift really good with this in any conditions. It grips, it sticks, it's steady like the Nightshark. It's steady on the snow, on the ice, and this car is, it's something special. It holds a special place in my heart. This vehicle does. It's so good. One of my favorite vehicles in real life too for rallying, and in GTA Online, it's a forgotten vehicle, but it is so good in these winter times and off-road. I used to win with this, beating the top sports car vehicles, just because it had a tiny section of off-road on the race. This is how good this vehicle is in off-road conditions, and this is a must-buy for the snow, especially at this price. $700,000 in GTA Online cash these days is nothing. For this price, it is a 100% must-buy. Omnis GT in the snow, it's a whole different beast. But with the snow, you have to have a big vehicle, massive tires, a vehicle that could go over rocks, go over water, handle the snow, and that's where the Kamacho comes in at number 4. This one, again, super cheap, only $345,000 to buy this, and it is 4th best, and it has a top speed 116.75 miles per hour, which is 7th out of 53 in the off-roads class, and with the off-road traction loss of 0.15, makes it so it is one of the best off-road vehicles in the whole game. And adding on top of the snow, the added traction, added grip just makes it so much better. Now this car is fat, this car is massive. It does have a boaty feel to it, and that keeps it steady in the snow. That keeps it grippy, that keeps it able to hold down the line when you take corners in this. And that's what makes it so good. But also, you can go up anything with this. You can go up rocks, go up mountains. Pretty much anything you throw at this, it could handle. Has to be in the top spots for vehicles in the snow. And it has pretty good customization too. A lot of good, fun customization options. Now we get into the top 3. Now this one probably does deserve the number 1 spot. But you guys are going to see what the number 1 spot is and why this one is in 3rd. But number 3 is the Vagrant. A newer vehicle, kind of open wheel concept. Simple, but so good. And surprisingly fast too. This one having a top speed of 122.25 miles per hour, which is 4th best in the category. And with the off-road traction loss of 0. So we're going back to 0. So this is why this is ahead of the Draugur. But this one, even though it's 4th, so 2 places below the Draugur, it has 0 off-road traction loss, so you keep all the traction. But as well as it keeps the speed, it keeps the turning radius, it keeps the grip, and it's small, so you're not going to be going over too many rocks with this, you're not going to be going into swamps with this, but it just off-roading with this car is a beast. There's almost nothing like this car right here. It's kind of an open wheel concept like the F1 cars are. It will cost you $1.6 million to buy this. If it wasn't for some of these vehicles ahead of this. But we go on to an even faster off-road car, which is 10th out of 53 in the off-road category, with a lap time of 2nd in the off-road category. That is amazing. For the size of this vehicle, it is the Draugur. Now this is so amazing in snow. Traction loss of 0.15. Now that does have 0.15% higher of what we just had before this, but this car is so fast. The traction is very good also. The suspension is good. It could go over almost any rock you put it under. This car is one of the most fun to drive in the whole game. And the doors are so unique. The design is so unique. It's a massive vehicle. I'll just look at the tires in this gameplay right here. It is amazing to see. And yeah, this car was only released last year, but it has gone on to be one of the best off-road vehicles and one of the best in the snow too. So this car is a must-have for off-roading and of course during the holiday season. It's so fun to drive. It will cost you $1.8 million to buy it and even more to customize it, but for what you're getting for that price, it's a 100% must get. But at number 1, I think we all saw this coming. It is the BF40. Yep, it is a bike. Now this bike wasn't in my original video last year when I did this, but I just remembered this bike exists and this bike is crazy on off-road conditions. It handles good and it's a bike so you can wheel it to make it go faster. It is 4th out of 52 in motorcycles with top speed of 135 miles per hour. So the fastest on this list because it's a motorcycle. Of course, these have insane top speed, especially when you are wheeling. It adds on top bonus speed and it has an off-road traction loss of 0 because it is an off-road bike. And $95,000 is the price for this bike. Just buy this instead of any other vehicle on this list. Don't pay millions for the other better vehicles. Pay $95,000 for the best off-road vehicle in the whole game, the BF400. And in the snow, even though it only has 2 wheels, the turning is kind of lower, to be honest, but it's fast, it grips. You can turn though. The turning is so good in the snow and on the ice. And the speed is what makes this at number 1 because again, speed is a huge part of driving in the snow. Snow does slow you down a lot, even compared to off-roading in the grass. Snow is even worse on top of the spinning, but this bike, you can't really spin out on it, and it goes super fast. The only thing you do have to worry about is understeer, and that's what makes this bike number 1. It is meant to be an off-roading bike, motorcycle. That's what it does best. In the snow, this is my number 1 personal choice. And I do kind of love bikes because it's just so fun to drive compared to vehicles. But just looking at this list, some amazing vehicles, some probably most of you forgotten about, but I'm bringing these back for the snowy weather today in GTA Online. Amazing to see snow back. Enjoy it, guys. Might be the second to last Christmas we have in GTA Online before GTA 6 comes out. Grab a hot coffee, enjoy this weather, and enjoy the snow in GTA Online. Got this far, probably means you liked it. Leave a like, subscribe, did the buttons light up below? Go check if they light up. That's a cool new feature YouTube added. And I'll see you guys in whatever video I make next.